This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be talking about the Boundary Supply Arris pack, which I've been testing for the past 3 weeks. Let's dive in. So starting with the materials on this pack, we have a 400D TPU nylon, and you can see and kind of feel that nylon texture. It's a very high diener, so very strong material, and it's finished with a DWR coating, which means that it is very water resistant, and as we'll go through, all of the zippers on this have AquaGuard protection on them, so this pack is very water resistant. Got caught in the rain a few times, just like a little light rain, and then more snow actually, because it's winter here, and everything stayed dry, which was great. The fabric is a bit crunchy. I don't know if you can really hear that, but when it is manipulated, it has a little bit of a crunch to it, almost like a thick bag of chips, which is a little bit annoying, but for what you get from that DWR finish and the high diener nylon, it's definitely worth the little bit of crunch you get. It doesn't get very dirty. I rode with this on my bike about 35 miles or so, and we're in winter here, so there's rain and snow and salt and stuff, and it really didn't get dirty. I was very surprised how clean the fabric stayed. There are a few areas where I think it got hit with a little bit of salt, and that salt kind of grinded into the material there. I'm not sure how well you can see that because it's very, very minimal. But because of that texture that this material does have, it kind of can get grained in pretty easily, especially things like salt. So if you're going somewhere cold and they salt the roads and stuff, that is important to note, but you can get it off pretty easily. You just use a scrub brush and scrub it, and it came off pretty easily. Even a wet rag works too. So moving to the back here, we have the very hardy back panel and the sternum strap and the hip strap. The back panel here is actually adjustable, so you can lift up on this Velcro and shift it up and down, which is great to fit every body type. So if you're shorter, you can bring it down here, or if you're taller, you can bring it all the way to the top there. The taller you are, there is a little bit of area here where you won't get any padding. But I am taller, and I wore it close to the top almost the entire time. And to be honest, I did not really even notice. Behind that is a hard plastic. It runs all the way down. You can see it down here, and then up here as well, which is nice because it kind of spreads the weight out. When it's just fabric, if there's weight being pushed here, it's only going to hit here. But because of this hard plastic, it kind of spreads out the weight, which is nice, and it also offers a bit of extra protection for whatever you put in the pack, because this hard plastic runs right up against the inside of the pack. The sternum strap here has a nice little locking, it's put down by a magnet here on the side when you're not using it to keep it out of the way so it's not dangling. And it is a fidlock, so it pops off really easily and then slides in again to come off. Sometimes, like you just saw, when you try and pull it off, it doesn't come off, it just comes off the magnet, and you got to pull it a little extra, and then you're stuck. So you kind of put your finger on there while you're doing it to get it off. And then when you are strapping it, you put it over like this, and then it's secure, and it stays on unless you pull it straight up. But like I said before, if you get the wrong angle, it's not going to come off, so it's better to kind of grab here and then pull to get it off. It is a little big. I wish this mechanism was a little smaller because you can kind of feel the plastic if you have it tight, but it does offer a lot of support when you're wearing this pack and it's very full. This alone offers a lot of support. I found myself just wearing the sternum strap more than the sternum strap with the hip belt, but it does offer a lot of support, but it is, like I said, a little bulky and can kind of poke into you a little bit. And then when you're done, take it off and put it away and out of the way. Down to the hip belt, we have a very large and in charge hip belt here. This material is very wide, and when you put it on, it's a very strong and big Woojin buckle. All the buckles on this pack are Woojin, which is a great shout. They're very, very sturdy, hard plastic, and they're not coming undone once they're done. This is a removable hip belt. This is Velcroed down here, so you pull that up, it's Velcroed to it, and it pulls out pretty easily. I didn't ever really wear it without it because I kind of like having that extra support when the pack is heavy. But like I said, there were times when I wore just the sternum strap without latching the hip belt, but I always left it on just to have that option. This comes off really easy, which is nice. The sternum strap is not so easy to get off. It has these little T hooks that go through the attachment loop, and I tried for probably 15-20 minutes to get it off, and I was really struggling to do it, and I never actually got it off. I assume you're supposed to pull this way and then get that in like that, but I was not able to get it off. The only reason I was trying to get it off was to prove that I could. I didn't want to take it off. I always use the sternum strap for the most part, but if you are trying to get it off, it is difficult. It's not something you're going to do super quickly, which is important to note for if you're on the go and you want to take it off. Right now, it might be a little hard to do. Another thing to note is the padding and aeration on the back panel here. It is very, very breathable. Even, I was wearing a big coat while I was wearing this and it got a little warmer. The sun came out and it was still very, very cool. It's got a nice push to it, and then you've got these little aerated holes here to keep things dry. Something to note about the hip belt here is it has similar aeration, just on a smaller scale, but there's like a piece of hard plastic in here, or maybe like a piece of hard rubber, and that kind of hurts breathability a little bit. You don't have that here, you just have it all the way through, but on this, when it's wrapped and it's hugging your front, this doesn't breathe as well because of the hard plastic in there. So on a warmer day, or if you're need to get somewhere in a hurry, like you're running through the airport or something like that, and you have this attached, it did get a little bit warm where these push up because the air is not getting through there. These shoulder straps are also aerated and padded. They're very, very padded, and they don't have that thick plastic or the piece of plastic that I was talking about on the hip belt either. Very aerated. I never had an issue with these getting too hot or anything like that. And I like that it goes all the way up here because this is going to be touching you as well. A lot of times the aeration and the padding only goes to right here where that seam is, but it goes all the way up here, which is very nice and just keeps the whole pack light and airy, even when it's stuffed full. And these shoulder straps also curve to your body, which is nice. So no matter where you've got it, no matter how tall you are, it's going to curve to your body. And that might not fit every person's body type, but I found it very, very comfortable. And because they're not super rigid, they can kind of be manipulated to work how you want them to work. And then if you've got this tightened up, that'll move them more, which is nice. We've got a lot of attachment loops on these shoulder straps as well. Like each of these loops you could attach something to, or if you want to move where the sternum strap is and you're able to get it off, you could bring it up higher or further down. And if whatever ones you're not using for the sternum strap, or if you take the sternum strap off, you could attach carabiners here, clips, or anything like that. Or if you have a pouch that you want to wear on your front, you could also attach it there. Up here we have the top handle. There's not much room between where the top handle is and the material. Like you can just barely get your hand in there. If you have a bigger hand, you might, rub on the hard plastic here, which is not super comfortable, but if you're not carrying it for an extended period of time, this isn't really an issue. And it's like a hard piece of plastic, or maybe just a hard piece of rubber in there, which is easy to grab onto, but it's not the most comfortable. So if you have a really heavy bag here, this is 35 liters, and if you stuff it full, it's gonna be heavy. And if you have to hold that for an extended period of time, like maybe you're sitting on public transit or something like that, and you wanna hold on tight to your bag and you can't wear it, that can get a little bit uncomfortable. But for the most part, it's fine. Just extended use might get a bit uncomfortable. We have two side straps here, which are kind of similar material inside, but they're not rounded. It's like a rectangle, which is great for if, you can grab it with two hands, which is nice, or just grab it with one. And it also works as a luggage pass-through. If you have, a super wide handle on your luggage, it might not fit through. It's not the biggest luggage pass-through we've seen, but for all intents and purposes for the most part, this is going to work for you. Moving to the sides of the pack, we have these last straps that are included, which are nice for dynamic use. You know, you can use these to attach other attachments, like if you have something you want to attach on the side, or they also kind of work as a compression strap, and that's how they come on the sides. So if you don't have as much in the pack, you can tighten it up. And you also have another one on this side. This one I found is good for use with a water bottle that doesn't want to stay in the pocket. We've got a pretty large water bottle pocket here. I'll take the bottle out, and it has some elastic here, so it opens pretty wide, and it is pretty deep. But if you have a bigger water bottle, like this is a, I believe, 32-ounce hydro flask, and you slide it in there, it fits in pretty well. But you can see that it doesn't go all the way to the bottom because it's a little bit wider. So if you were to kind of go like this, it's a full water bottle, and kind of go like that, there goes the water bottle. But because you do have this last strap here, if you have a loop or something, you can put it through there and attach it, so that way the water bottle can't come out. If you don't have a loop, that doesn't really work so well, but you can still kind of put it around it, especially if you have a taller water bottle that's taller than this, or like you can kind of find a way to make it work. If you have a skinnier water bottle, that's not as big of an issue. Like this 32-ounce Gatorade bottle, you can see it goes further down to the bottom and doesn't have as much issue falling out, but then it's not as wide, so it moves around a little bit more. So it's kind of finding the right bottle to fit this pack, or using the last strap to keep things in place. You can also fit like a small travel tripod in here. You just stick it in like you would a water bottle, and then the last strap can tighten around it, or you can like feed it through one of the feet to ensure it does not go anywhere. These last straps also have little clips here to attach to their 360 hooks. These are unbranded clips, but they are metal. They feel like, made of good material, and they can be pretty hard to get on and off, but it's obviously, not something you're going to be doing all the time. But you can see they clip a little better there. It's got a nice little boundary logo there. And then getting them on is a little bit quicker than getting them off, but it's definitely not, super quick access. So this last strap, or if you're using it kind of as a compression strap can stay on because it doesn't go over the zipper. But the one on this side does cover the main zipper and then the side access zipper. So undo that. And the main zipper is a big, beefy YKK number 10 zipper, and it has the ability to lock there. So you just need, a little lock to throw on there. So if you're worried, if you're in a hostel or something like that, or going through the airport, you can keep that locked. It has an AquaGuard finish to keep water out, and that goes all the way around, which is great, as they have on their site. They're pretty much waterproof. They're obviously, if you were to submerge this thing, water is going to get in through those zippers. But for the most part, water is not going to get in there unless it's submerged or you're outside for, hours in rain. When you're opening it here, it tends to get stuck right there. There's a little tab on the interior there, and when you're coming this way, it normally doesn't get stuck, but going that way, it almost always stops, at least for a second. Sometimes it's worse than others. If you have this more packed, it pushes it out more, so it gets stuck easier. But I've been stuck for 15 seconds sometimes, getting my hand in there to manipulate that tab to open the zipper. It is, it's a huge zipper, and they want to keep water out, and that's awesome, but it is a little slow to open, especially if you don't have a lot of space. Like if I were to try to open it while it's sitting this way, it's kind of hard because the pack is so big. To get around, you really gotta reach, and then it gets hooked on different things on the top. So it is a difficult zipper to open, but it does offer that extreme water resistance, which is very nice. The top zipper here is a YKK number 8, and it's also an AquaGuard, so it keeps water out for the most part. This one's a little bit easier to open because it isn't such a huge zipper. And this top pocket is pretty big, and it's great for on-the-go items because there isn't really anywhere else on this pack for on-the-go items. So if you don't have a sling or something like that to keep your phone and stuff like that in, this is a great space for that. Right now I've got my Bluetooth headphones in there, my cell phone, and my Nintendo Switch. And I had a lot of room to spare, as you could see when I opened that. It's a pretty big pocket. And we've also got a little mesh pocket here for, you know, if you have a dongle or like a small phone charger, you could put your battery bank in there so it's not swimming around in this pocket. This is also a YKK zipper. I'm not sure the exact branding on it. It looks like a YKK number 5. But you can really fit a lot of stuff in here. If you have a tech pouch or even, you know, a packing cube, you could fit this in here. And, you know, if you have a sling for your on-the-go items, this is another place where you can put stuff, and then maybe you'll put your passport and other important travel documents in here. While this is up like this, I can show you that a flaw of this bag is that it can't stand up. You don't often really need it to, but if you're somewhere, again, where there's not very much space and you can't lie it down, standing it up really isn't an option. If I let go, it's falling. I even noticed that while I was at my house, I would like lean it up against the wall, and if I didn't give it enough angle, like it's still gonna go. Because you do have a lot of weight up here, especially if you have stuff in this pocket, but right now I don't, and it still goes almost every time. It sits very nicely flat like this, and also for the most part you can kind of sit it on its side like that. But standing it up on like this is just not gonna happen. It's too tall and skinny, and there's a lot of weight up here. But moving on to the front pocket here, I have the bag pretty stuffed right now. And when you open this pocket, it can be kind of hard to get into. Right now, like I said, it's pretty stuffed, and I just have an iPad in here, and it's not the easiest to get things in and out of. When the bag isn't so full, it isn't as hard, but that's something, you know, important to note. Like, this is really the only place for quick grab stuff. If your pack's full, you're not going to get in and out here quickly. This is another YKK number 8 AquaGuard zipper, and it does have a little tab of fabric here to cover it for even more protection. The zipper pulls on the exterior are this, they kind of look like leather, but they're not. They're some sort of synthetic material, and they're really nice to feel. When it gets wet, it is a little slippery, but you have this nice little tab here to grab onto with the logo on it. So that's nice, and you have the same one on the main compartment zipper here, and then the interior zipper pulls are a little bit different. Moving to the side before we jump in, we have a side access pocket. You can access the main compartment of the bag by coming through the side, which is nice for getting into this main compartment without opening the whole thing, because as you saw, opening this main zipper can be problematic and slow. So if you need to get something quickly, or you know exactly where something is, you can open this and grab it. If you have something big in here, it might be hard to fit it out. Like, this packing cube isn't terribly full right now, but if you had more rigid items in there, it would be hard to get out. Another YKK zipper here, you know, we've got YKK across the board, which is nice. And you can also stick this tab under here so it doesn't open when you don't want it to open, and a little bit of a theft deterrent as well. So finally, getting into the main compartment here, I'll open the big zipper, stuck in the same spot as always. And I often find too, when I'm trying to open it, this corner, if I don't bring it around, it's kind of like I'm stuck on this corner. So it just kind of gets jumbled up with this zipper and zipper pull in this little clip here. There we go, we got it open. Then it opens up all the way. And on this side over here, we have a laptop sleeve. It's supposed to fit up to, I believe, a 17-inch laptop. I've got a 15-inch in it right now, and it, you know, has room to spare, so I believe that it does fit a bigger laptop. And it goes all the way, like, can be completely flush, which is nice. But as things are getting jostled around, and if you do have it flat, it kind of can move, which I'm not the biggest fan of. But I did put it in there with a case as well, and that did fit just fine. It has, you know, enough room to go like that. And this padding is pretty thick, which is nice. And then right behind it is that hard panel I was talking about. So I have no worry that the laptop is going to be safe while it's in there. And it has this little clip at the top to make sure that if it does come up, it can't come all the way out, which is nice. On this side over here, we have this little mesh organizer on the top of what is the rest of the main compartment. We've got YKK number 5 zippers. We've got these nice little nylon zipper pull with a hard plastic on the end, so it's easy to grab onto, and if for whatever reason, like your hands are wet, you can grab onto this textured nylon instead of the plastic here on the zipper pull. Try and lift that up so you can see it a little bit better. Something to note about these mesh pockets is they are mesh, so you can stuff a fair amount of stuff in there. But if you put too much in there, it'll bulge out and it'll make closing the pack hard, especially if you have your laptop in here. Because as you can see, it's already bulging out a little bit there. And if you look at this side, there isn't much room between where the zipper can go to and where the laptop comes to. So if you were to stuff a bunch of stuff in these mesh pockets, closing this will be harder, and that zipper is already pretty hard to close. So you're gonna make some hard work for yourself. But these are good for, socks and underwear, or if in the smaller pocket, if you have some cords and stuff like that, you want to separate from the rest of the bag, that is a good place for them. Right now I've just got my laptop charger and a hat in here. And then in here I've got some more like quick use items that I don't necessarily need all the time, like a point and shoot camera, a USB-C to lightning cable for charging my phone from my laptop, and a pocket emulator. But these are great, like I said, for socks, underwear, small clothing items, or if you have like a nicer shirt that you don't want to get wrinkled in a packing cube, you can kind of fold it up and put it in here, among other things. But to get into the main compartment, we have these 2 zippers here that you can pull like this, but it is a lot easier to use the one-handed pull and just grab and open. It is kind of nice the way that this is designed, that if you know where stuff is, and like you could just open this half, grab what you need, or just open this half and grab what you need. But with that, one-handed, or make it even easier if you can grab this pull tab with your other hand, it's open very, very quickly. And this is where most of the storage in the pack is going to be at. Right now we've got a large packing cube and a smaller packing cube in here, but this is still a pretty good size packing cube. And as you can see up here, this is the top compartment where you can put your on-the-go stuff in this pocket. It does share the space, but if you don't completely stuff that full, you've got room to kind of hide a packing cube under here without taking up too much room. And then enough room for a big packing cube, and I think you could probably even fit another one in here if you wanted to. On the bottom is where the included wet dry bag goes. And it is fairly good size. Right now I've just got a pair of Lems in there, and they fit in there with ease, and then I was able to still roll it up. So that's nice to have if you want to bring, a pair of shoes or something like that with you. Or, if you, go swimming or something like that, and then you have to leave fairly quickly, you can just throw the wet stuff in here, or put the wet stuff out here and then put the dry stuff in here. It does remove pretty easily. It's got these little elastic here, and then you put that through, it attaches. It's got 4 of them. And then once you take this out, it gives you a lot more room for packing cubes and whatever else you might want to throw in there. That's a pretty big pack. I think most of your 35 liters are coming from here. This right here is that front pocket that I said can be kind of hard to get things in and out of. Now that it's not packed, that isn't so much of an issue. You've got more room to grab and put in. But like it was packed before, you can see why, we're taking space away. The tiny bit of space away that is there, we've kind of taken it away. But now when you put the 2 packing cubes I did have in there, you've got all this space where you could put another one that is this size, a big packing cube, and probably even another one of these to stuff things full. On the inside here also we've got this seam taping. I'll lift it up so you can see a little better. And this is nice for the water resistance we were talking about earlier. All of the seams here are taped, so if water is able to get in through these seams, it's gonna get stopped by this seam tape. So like we said before, if you were to submerge this pack, water is going to find a way in. But in light rain or even a heavy rain for a while, it's gonna take water quite a bit of time to find its way into the pack, which is a great shout for, as a travel bag, you never know what weather you're going to run into, so being prepared is great. Zip this up and go back to the exterior here. This pack is, see, I'm stuck on that part of the zipper once more. This pack is great for its modularity. There are a lot of different things that you can get from Boundary Supply that work with this pack, and also you can use things that you have from other brands as well. These 360 mounting points are great because you can use lash straps or any clip that fits on there and attach different items. They make a stasis sling. It's a really, really big sling that can attach here. And it's great for, this is a really big bag, and if you're going on vacation and you get to your hotel or Airbnb, you're probably not gonna wanna carry this bag, but a smaller sling might not be big enough to carry all the stuff you need. So the stasis sling is a very, very large and in charge sling that can fit here, and then once you get to your location, just take it off and put what you need for the day in it and head out. So that is a great addition. We have the Boundary Supply Rift Pack on hand here, and as you can see, it is the same colorway as the bag, that same nice kind of burnt earthy orange. And you can attach this to the top here. If you undo these buckles, we've got these Woojin buckles here, and they attach, oh, down it goes. It attaches to these up here. So those will attach right there. And then on the, let's do those clips back up. On the bottom, you have these lash straps that pop out. So you can attach those to the 360 clips here. So this is nice for, if you pack this completely full and you still need a little bit of extra space, you can add this hip pack to the top here to, that little bit of extra space. And it also has these two attachment loops here, so if you wanted to attach something to this, you could, because how it attaches here is very secure. We've got those same metal clips and Woojin buckles. So this, it's not gonna go anywhere, so you can attach things to that if you want as well. We really like this because it's a little bit smaller than the sling that goes on the front here. And if you're in the airport and you want to leave your bag at the gate with your family or friends or whoever you're with, you can do that, and you can leave with just this and go get the snacks you want for the plane, any goodies you want from the airport. So you don't have to bring your whole big bag, because this is a very big, heavy bag. You don't want to have to carry this around if you don't want to. And the same thing, once you get to your hotel or Airbnb, if you're just taking a quick jaunt somewhere, or if you're you're not going to need to carry that much stuff, you can take this instead of the big sling, because that sling is very, very large. This is only 3.5 liters, so it fits a fair amount of stuff, but you're not going to need, not going to be able to put a ton of stuff in here. It's also great on the airplane because you can have it attached when you're in the airport and have all the stuff in there, and put your quick use items that you want to have access in here. And when you get to your seat on the plane, you can throw this in the above compartment, take this off, and you have all of your stuff you want for the flight, like if you have a Nintendo Switch, or if you want to put your phone in there, headphones, charging cables, stuff like that. They can all go in here, so you have them in flight, and then this is safe above, and then you can put it back on when you land. But moving to the interior here, stuck again. Right here you can see these two little clips the male end of 2 clips. And you can put the Field Space laptop sleeve there. It's a Boundary Supply laptop sleeve, or you can put documents in it if you want, that mounts here and then it attaches or gets strapped down with this little elastic piece here. That's nice because if you leave your laptop in here, you can put travel documents in the laptop sleeve or anything else flat, like if you had a tablet or something like that. And then also when you get to where you're going, you don't have to bring this big pack, and you can bring your documents or your laptop or whatever you need to bring by removing that, and it has a handle and you can just carry that. Because your laptop and everything else is not going to fit in the hip pack or the sling, so you can just take this. Something I would note about that though is without it, this space feels a little wasteful. Like there's nothing you can really do with this space. You can pack this, fuller than if the laptop sleeve was here, but there's no pockets or anything here like this. You can't really do anything with this. I guess you could strap something under there, but I'm not really sure what you would put under there. And I feel similarly about the front of the pack here. If you don't have anything to clip onto the 360 attachment points here, this feels like wasted space. Like there's nothing you can really attach here unless you have something that can clip on nicely. A lot of packs have different ways, put like a sweatshirt or something on the outside. Everything here is on the inside unless you have these something to attach to these 360 clips. So this space does feel a little wasted. There's also a MK2 LT camera case that a lot of people like to put inside here. And then you have easy access to it from this pocket that's still locked up. We won't waste time with that. But you saw earlier how we can get in there quickly. And if you have your organizer in here, you can get to it quickly. And it also, you can use it as a sling or a shoulder bag, so that when it's not in here and you don't need quick access, and you don't need, it's quick, but it's not that quick. You can just wear it as a sling and you're all set. Apart from those 2 things about the modularity where, you could add something here and you could add something here, but if you don't, those kind of feel like wasted spaces. Overall, this pack, is very, very versatile, and you can use it for a lot of things, and no matter what you throw at it, it's probably going to fit it. At 35 liters, you can fit a ton of gear in here, and given the material on the exterior, that weather-resistant material that, for the most part, unless you submerge it or are stuck in a monsoon, it's going to keep water out from the zippers to the material and everything in between. And then you've got like we talked about before, this here to keep water out of the seams. So if you're in the rain, snow, sleet, or anything in between, this pack will get you there and it will be comfortable. So there you have it, the Boundary Supply Arris pack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.